All right, guys. Josh here with Inktology. We're here again at night. It's late night. What time is it? West Coast. It is 7:20 p.m. If you don't know, if you haven't watched the last Artcast, I'm calling it the Artcast because I was like, live stream feels weird, and then podcast sounds like what kind of more of what it is because it's just me chit-chatting while I draw. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Artcast it, and so that's what it is. It's an Artcast, and let me welcome everybody real quick. Fertility, storms, and agriculture. All right, so this is Inktology, a channel dedicated to inking and drawing of religion, mythology, and history. I'm your artist, Joshua Lamb. I think I already said that. But, if you haven't joined and liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. Help an artist out, myself. And yeah, so let's begin so we can get this going. The research I have is coming from a lot of different researches, but I have a book here on mythology, and it gives me a really good detail of Baal. So I'll kind of be reading that out to you a little bit while I draw. Keep it educational. This thing doesn't fall off the table. Move it over here. See if that will do. Man, that's tough. Okay, that's not gonna work. Anyways, Baal is a god from the Canaanite legacy back in the Bible. Talks a lot about Baal, and Baal, and the meaning is Lord or owner. It was a name given by many Canaanite tribes to their chief god, right? And when the Israelites entered the land of Canaan, they took up this word and they used it to describe the foreign god. And it was generally a term of a false god. So whenever they mentioned any false gods compared to Yahweh or the one god El or something like that they worshipped, they would just call it Baal. Baal this, Baal all this, or Baal all that. And it was just kind of like an insult to any other god out there. Christianity and a lot of this in the Judaism have an idea of what El, the god El, is. They think it's the one creator god, or Yahweh, without recognizing the fact that these gods are ancient and they all were in competition with each other. So the most renowned Baal of the Canaanite mythology was the rain and fertility, which we're drawing here, associated with storms, the storm god Hadad. He lived in the mountains and in the north of the region and was sometimes referred to as the Lord of the North. Kind of sounds like Game of Thrones. And so then one story tells how Baal defeated Yam, Y-A-M, Yam, the sea deity. Yam asked for the supreme god El, which you would hear in the Bible quite a bit, to crown him king. But El agreed, but warned him that first of all, he would have to defeat Baal. And learning of the forthcoming battle, Baal equipped himself with a magic weapon made by the gods, and eventually, of course, he succeeded by killing Yam, and scattering his remains. I don't know what about scattering remains in mythology, but there's a lot of that. Baal proclaimed himself king and built a sumptuous dwelling place on Mount Saphon, and then took control of a couple cities and stuff. After the victory, Baal became so proud that he decided to challenge Mot, M-O-T, the god of death. That sounds dope. I want to have a battle with Mot, right? He forced Mot to live in the barren wasteland and barred him from all fertile regions. I wonder how he did that. In response, Mot challenged Baal to come to his underground dwelling. I guess we're thinking of Satan here. And then eat mud, the food of the dead. I mean, is mud really that bad? Baal took up the challenge and he died. The end of the story. I'm just kidding. But kind of. So all the gods mourned Baal's death, and his wife, a ferocious Anat, the ferocious Anat, A-N-A-T, descended to the underworld to retrieve his corpse. However, she was unable to revive Baal, so she asked Mot like for help, and Mot's like, "What? No, I'm not going to help you." And Anat burst into a frenzy and slaughtered them. Women, they will have your back to the end if they are your lover. Like seriously, Anat was just like, she was like, "You're not going to help me out, bring my husband back to life. I am going to destroy you." So then, after she slaughtered him, Baal returned back to life, and Baal is then seen as dying and a rising god. Do you see that story anywhere? Ooh, Christianity, a dying god and then coming back to life, rising again. He's often depicted wielding a thunderbolt or a flash of lightning. So that's what we're drawing here, is the lightning in his hands, like electricity with a staff. He also has a staff. The very few depictions or like idols and stuff that we have, this is a more common one. You can see it's a very simplified little statue, and he's got a very crowned, like a bowling pin head. He's holding something which is not there anymore, so they probably fit it in with like a piece of wood. And then he had probably a staff right here. Egyptians' gods look very similar. He has a skirt. He has really nice figured legs. Look at those things, beautiful legs. But his voice was supposed to be that of thunder. And when he watered the earth through the hole of the floor of his palace, he became associated with like Zeus and Jupiter. With the gods of the Greco-Roman gods, right? But anyways, he's a Canaanite god. He got his name Baal. Israelites were not happy with this god. They did not like Baal. But that's what we're going for, guys. We're drawing this depiction. I am creating his own persona because I don't see too many gods being drawn. And that's what we're doing. We're just going to doodle and have fun. So enjoy. And I wish I had music for you guys. But you know what? I usually don't do music anymore because the copyright thing. But because we need it. We need it. Hold on, I gotta pull up my phone. My nose is ripping on me right now. I'm allergic to drawing, just to let you know, because if you watch any of my other YouTube live streams, I am always sniffling because I think it's the gloves, honestly, but I can't really tell you. Man, there's not enough... Here we go. What's this? Lo-fi beats. No, Domino. Yeah, pizza sounds good though. Okay, let's enjoy some. Hopefully it doesn't get taken down because I really enjoy this drawing. I am currently eating some cheese with some nice glass of wine. I'm classy like that, yo. All right. Oh, I'm using a Pigma Micron 003. And super high detailed. It's a great pen to use. It's Wednesday night. I hope you guys are having a great night. I am having a pretty solid day. Filled out some resumes, applying for some jobs, try to get a better job. You ever work for a job and you're like, this is a great job, but then the job goes under new management and then you're like, well, I don't like the job anymore. That's for sure. That's me. But I've had tons of jobs in my life, so it doesn't really harm me to look for other work. I could do much better work with like going back to teaching and doing more professional work, but then I really want to focus on my art career growing to be the professional thing. And in order to do that, I have to make some sacrifices for a couple of years and work some simple work. Not simple, just stuff that people would probably think is like, oh, that's Josh, why don't you do something a little bit more up your alley? Like work for corporate or something like that. And I don't want to work back. I don't want to work for corporate again. I tried that world. It drove me mad. I'm an artist, and most artists, if you get into the corporate world, you become a graphic designer. And that's not me. I'm not a graphic designer. I was a visual designer for a couple of years. It's cool, fun, but super stressful. And you know what the real issue is? That people who are not artists, who are over you, think that you should be doing these crazy things that don't make any sense to your skill set. And eventually you become a sellout to your own art and skills and desires of life. At least that's for me. I can't say that's for everybody. Some people are built for it, but I betrayed myself. I felt like I was betraying my art. I was just doing graphic design stuff when I like fine art. I like the challenge of creating something new each time, not just using a template that I created a couple times or someone else created. And but that's what sells. It really is what makes the world go round, because people like simplicity. They like aesthetics that are graphic designs, because I find that through a lot of artists in the corporate world, they don't know what they like until someone tells them that it's famous or popular or it's something really cool and people are digging it. And then all of a sudden they like it. It's a very offensive, I think, to artists. And no offense to the artist who created that art, right? But for example, here's an example. When it comes to like the Apple logo, very, very cool logo. It did what it did. It was simple. It was creative, and it was different at the time. But everyone wants to be the Apple logo. So they want you to create a simple logo that has a high meaning to it that represents their company and brand. But then what that does is that you're fighting for this idea that's going to pass away because society changes. As the logos back in the early 80s look nothing like they do now today, right? Even Burger King, McDonald's changed their stuff, because they're trying to stay in the now. It doesn't represent the same thing, and as a company changes, obviously they need to have different logos adapt. But as an artist, especially a fine artist, I find that to be difficult for me to do, because I create art to tell a story and to do things in of a certain way for emotional things. And I think it gets lost whenever you kind of fortify your art style into something that a company desires and has control of, actually. And then you are spending more time creating what they want and think is right due to culture compared to what your mind and imagination and heart is telling you to design. And this goes into film too, and filmmaking. And I was making, doing cinematography and editing and stuff. Like, people were asking for me to do things that were absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, well, first of all, I'm not Darren Aronofsky, and I'm not going to do it that way, because that's not my style of working. I get what you're trying to say, but you also need the talent. You need the director to work with it. And it's not fair to me to try to create something out of nothing. Like, I need you guys to pull your weight too. But then some people think that just because it's an artistic skill that you should match that quality level. And that's not really possible, because it's a team effort. It's like, okay, I can create the look, but if your actor doesn't act well, or your director is directing in a very poor way, no matter how much editing skill I have or cinematography skills I have, it's just not going to work together. It's not going to match. You have to be cohesive. And I feel that art has become a thing where people think, or companies think you can work magic, honestly. And I love graphic designers. I think what they do is super awesome. They're taking concepts and creating into simple designs. But if you look at everything these days, there's a lot of stuff that looks identical to itself. And I'm like, well, where's the creativity? And the creative ones don't get their images seen because the corporate businesses have such a stronghold on the way, art progresses in the commercial industry. You can see that in the comic books these days too, where a lot of comics are super simplified and overly. Oh, I got spam. Let me answer this. Let me answer some spam. Hello.
Hey, is this Joshua?
This is.
Hey, Joshua. I hope you're having a good night. My name is Alan. I'm a volunteer with Heather Hut for Council District 10. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great to hear. Are you planning on voting tonight?
I've already done it. I voted for Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's perfect. God bless you.
God bless you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. So, just to let you guys know, I didn't vote for Jesus Christ, other than my heart did, but not as president. I don't think he would want to be a governor or president. But yeah, if you ever want to get out of a spam situation, jump to religion and try to minister and preach to people. People hate it. So that's my tactic. Next time I will pull out probably Satan or maybe Buddha or it's offensive to some religious people, but I'm sorry. I was raised in the religion. I understand. But I find it very annoying that people are asking me to vote in the middle of the night. Like, what was he going to say? Hey, did you vote for, this one guy? First of all, my vote's private and it's personal, so you shouldn't be asking me in the first place. And secondly, what are you going to do? Sit there for 30 minutes and talk to me about what it means to what this person's going to do with my vote? Nah, man. You know for a fact how votes work. You vote for a president, and then they don't do exactly what they say they're going to do, which is 99% of the time, and we're left just being disappointed. So that's how I deal with stuff. And if you're offended, I'm sorry. You hear he's a God bless. He at least handled it well. You have to give him props. He did handle it very well. He was like, God bless you. So props to him for, responding well. Next time I'm going to use my Asian accent, and it'll be very offensive. So you guys have to, I'll apologize in advance that it'll seem racist, but I'm actually Korean. So it's not racist if I'm doing it to myself, hello, hi. No, do you know Buddha? Well, maybe not Buddha. It'd be Siddhartha. Or I am an advocate for the Dalai Lama. That doesn't sound Asian at all. Sorry, my nose is clogged, so I can't do my Korean accent. Plus, I don't want to get I don't want to get canceled right away. I mean, I don't know how I can get canceled. I don't have anybody in the first place. Who cares? But anyways, this is a channel about religion, mythology, culture, and stuff like that. So it's meant to be a little bit offensive, no matter who you are. I realized that I had some subscribers subscribe yesterday, like quite a few. I made it to like 570 something, and then all of a sudden some people dropped out. And I'm like, who took the time out of their day to unsubscribe? Like, what did I say or do that made them feel like they should unsubscribe to my channel? Oh well, that is the way the cookie crumbles, right? Maybe I suck at this artcast crap, podcasting live stream thing. But I love you guys no matter what, whoever you are, because it's just fun. It's just fun stuff. Hold on, I'm trying to find this live video thing that I can. Oh man, Mystery Science Theater 3000 live. What? All right, let's see if it's in focus. Daniel Chu, don't even think about that. Think about what? Wait, welcome, Daniel. The man Daniel. Don't think about, what did I say? I don't remember what I said. The wine might be hitting me right now. It's my Tuesday night, wine night. But had a really good conversation with a friend. Oh, I know, right? Why would someone unsubscribe? I have to figure that one out. Why would someone unsubscribe to my channel? But it's probably because I talk too much. That's my belief. Yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop just because some people unsubscribed. My Instagram, it went up to like 4,000 subscribers, followers, because I had worked at it so hard. And even though now I still post every day, but because I don't go and then like and subscribe to every random person and then do like 10 likes on their stuff and follow and comment and do like 1,000 jobs on each, I have to do so much, to get subscribers. It's just been dropping like 4 people a day. So now I'm back down to 3,000, which sucks. But you know what? I don't have time to work on I don't like the whole game of looking for followers. It drives me mad. It's like the most annoying thing. So, and I don't think it's healthy either. And I think you might agree with the fact that it's not healthy to look for. I'm trying to find out what his leg pose would be. Yeah, we'll give him a superhero pose. But hey, welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm actually quite impressed that you actually follow my stuff and you're so oftenly watching my stuff, It's quite encouraging, very encouraging. A man of your caliber, watching my content when you could be doing better things, like saving the world. Yeah, I know your secret identity. You're a superhero at night, but you choose to watch this instead of fighting crime. But I realized last night I really enjoy talking about religion and stuff and different difficult topics that people don't like to talk about. Hold on, I gotta see if this guy had boots on. Oh man, boots made for walking. No, where'd you go? Baal, where'd you go? Baal has no boots. I don't see boots on him, but it's probably more of a sandal that God is wearing. So we're gonna have to do some kind of sandal thing. Let's get back to YouTube. Well, hey, I would love to see your drawing. You should draw and then, show somebody, show me. That'd be great. I love watching artists too. Professionals are great to watch. I think I watched a few recently that I really enjoyed. David Finch is one, and then some other cartoonists for like the animation Big Bear, I think it was. He did the Disney stuff, and it's really cool. But I actually like watching more than that people who are just starting off and are not considered professional, because one, it's nice to oh, come on, it's nice to see the people's progress, and then travel with them when they succeed, even if it's a slow start. When people are too famous and stuff, or too professional, or too already well known, I feel like, they don't really need a boost of encouragement. They don't need all that stuff. And what they're giving is great knowledge always. But, I don't know. I just like the smaller crowd. I like the people who appreciate things more, because if you say something on a stream with a famous person, they're most likely not going to respond because they get so much of it. And that's fair. It's absolutely fair. But I like people who are just starting off, because then they actually respond and they think about what they're saying, and there's a better connectivity. Like some of the guys who follow my channel right now, they're not really big name people, not yet at least, but I'm sure within time they're going to be great. And I just want to be there when they do, because they'll know that I get them. I get what they're doing. Oh, my nose. And, to me, the what is it? The small man, the beginner. It's always more fun to know. It's kind of like how I like churches and stuff. So I had a conversation with somebody about why I don't agree with church and stuff. And it's not like I'm against churches. I think they should all be, well, I guess I could say they all should be taken down, but in a different way than most people would consider it. Like, him and I disagree because he's a big church goer, and he knows, I attended and worked for a church and all that stuff, but I think he thought that I was like against all pastors and churches and they're all evil and blah, 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 which isn't the case. But it comes off across that way when I say certain things, because I think most people don't realize that there needs to be some kind of accountability for these religions, not just churches, mosques and temples and all. There needs to be accountability. And there's not enough people fighting for the people who've been hurt compared to those who just are submissive to the religious, perspective. And we got into like a 3-hour debate thing about it. And at the end of it, I was like, look, you go to church. If you need church and that's going to help you, then you do you. Like, I'm not going to tell you otherwise, but know that I'm not going to stop trying to correct them, like someone needs to hold them accountable. And then he was like, well, long story short, we ended it well. We ended it very well. But I was like, the best part of the whole conversation was not that we argued, we came to a disagreement that we can't understand. The best part of the conversation was that we had the conversation, that him and I were able to have the conversation, period, and still remain friends. That was the key aspect of it all. And I said, when I post these things on Facebook that are very controversial and people get super offended, like super offended. I've had people curse me out and message me saying I'm going to hell and all these kind of terrible things. And they're Christians, they're believers that were my friends, my very good friends at one point. But because they're so warped with the idea of defending the faith that they'd rather shatter friendship and love and care in order to do something, right? And I told my buddy yesterday, I was like, the fact that you were able to talk to me and keep it civil shows me you have exactly what I'm trying to address, and that's to have the conversation of how to correct the religious organizations that abuse such authority that they have, and it's going to be a long process. It's a process for me to learn, and I'm learning as well. I'm not right all the time. In fact, I'm wrong probably a lot of the time, I would say. But the conversation alone is what is needed, and I find that to be more spiritually encouraging than ignoring the debate and then just claiming you're right because it says it in the Bible or it says it in the Quran or whatever. It's like, well, shoot, I could write a book and say that this book says it's right, and sure enough, and it'll be like, well, who are you to like prove me wrong? I mean, but just the fact that we're able to talk about it is a big step forward. So I'm really happy that him and I had the conversation. I hope that I can have more, but Facebook is a great place to have these debates because people don't know how to respond on Facebook. They are very argumentative because Facebook is like this mosh pit of ideas and a lot of really, really strong, almost ignorant thought processing. But it's a good platform to teach people. So I think, like I said multiple times, I've lost a lot of friends through this process, but I've also gained just as many who are thankful that I have brought these up and spoke for them, which I wasn't even speaking for them. I didn't even know who these people were, but you know, that's the way the world works, I guess. And if I can help out some, that'd be great. And through this art is helping a lot too, because I hope that people are finding knowledge and new perspectives of how to interpret the world and the difficulties of life through simple historical, understandings and drawings and all that stuff. Like Baal, for example, I was raised in the church to believe that Baal was just an idol that was somebody that the Israelites would turn to and make idols of, and it was a god that the God would be super disapproving of, El or Yahweh. But what they don't tell you is Yahweh and El was a god in the same realm with an idol as well, and then they eventually got merged. Like, how come no one taught me those things? Like, it'd be very beneficial to realize that. Like, I thought just the God of the Christian, the Jewish God, Israelite God was this like ethereal God you're not supposed to have idols for. But then once you realize historically, they actually had statues of El and Yahweh and stuff like that, and they were storm gods and of gods of agriculture and stuff. Then you're like, what? How come this wasn't in the Bible? Like, but it was. It's just not interpreted that way because Israelite people had to defend their own growth of their country and their, development, that they would hide away this information like any country would. Like, it's just natural that the country like Egypt spoke of Egypt very well. They changed history. In Egypt, they had a pharaoh that believed in a one god system, in a monotheistic system, but they erased him because they didn't like it. So they went out and scratched his carvings of his temples and stuff like that away because they didn't like the fact that there was a monotheistic point of view from a pharaoh in Egypt. And that's just, it's history. It's how history works. And I love it. I love it. It's so good. But I think people think that when you talk about these things that it's going to destroy your faith of Allah or God or Jesus and stuff like that. But I think it should strengthen it, if anything, because if you can believe in these things even after knowing, factual historical truths, then that's what real faith is about. Not believing blindly. And that's where our conversation ended yesterday with my friend and I. And he's a wonderful, wonderful person, and I respect his views. And I told him, like, go to church, bro. Like, go to the church, find a good church, find community, because it seems, you need it, and some people need it, and that's fair. I really don't. I mean, I'm going to go to church this Sunday, though, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. But I'm going to see my friends that I haven't seen in a long time, and they invited me out. And when someone invites me, I never say no. I try not to say no. I can make an excuse all I want, but if I don't have an excuse, a really solid one, I want to encourage them. And plus, half the people I know think I'm a Satan worshiper or something. It's really weird. It's fun. I say life has gotten really, really good lately. Ever since I started pursuing these things, it's good. It's a breath of fresh air, that's for sure. And Daniel, you probably know more than anybody with me. So, I do appreciate you. You've helped me quite a bit, my friend. Quite a bit. Actually, probably more than 90% of the people I know. Okay. Back to Baal. We got Baal jumping in the air with the lightning bolt. He's soaring up. His legs are stretched out. Let me zoom out a little bit. Ooh. Oh, the posting so much thing happened through. Hold on, let me grab my drink. I'm thirsty. It happened through. Oh no, I think I just spilled it. No, darn it. I got really tired of. I don't know. I just got tired of waiting for something to happen. I was working on editing all these videos to make them perfect. Nothing was ever getting produced. 6 months would go by and nothing would be put on online. And I told myself, I'm just going to start being terrible at what I post on purpose. And then if it grows, it grows. And then sure enough, I started posting live. I tried out, I'm going to do 7 days straight of live streaming and posting and see what happens. And I saw growth right away. Right away, I started seeing people follow and the growth of my channel and the good comments. And I think the posting on the Facebook thing grew because I told everybody this year that I was going to push hard on teaching about the Bible and teaching about history, the historical Jesus and all this stuff. And the moment I started doing it, I started getting a negative feedback right away, like heavy negative feedback. And that's whenever I realized I was doing something right, actually. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. People hate this stuff so much and think so down of me. I think I like it. It's weird. I don't know how to explain that. I really don't know how to explain it. I have friends today. They're like, Josh, are you okay posting this and people commenting like this to you and calling you out and all this stuff? I'm like, actually, it gives me life. Because I think me trying to find acceptance through people posting what people wanted was actually a hindrance to me because it wasn't really me being me. As for my art, the art is a way for me to force myself to study these things. And thank you, I appreciate it. Because I kind of slouched a little bit of learning the historical stuff that I wanted to learn and books that I wanted to read. And so now I'm forced to study more because I have to draw the topic that I'm studying, like Baal. Dude, Baal, I never even knew half of this stuff about Baal until, last week. And then I started studying. I'm like, oh my God. I've had him all wrong this whole time. There's different Baals, of course, but, they're from a perspective of the Israelite rule, not so much of the actual truth of the history what we've discovered through archaeology. And if we're not taking the archaeological and historical evidence as some kind of knowledge through the scholars, then we're just making up stuff as people who think we know anything, right? So, that's why we go to people who know their topic best, like a psychologist. I'm not going to go to a guy on the street who doesn't have his life together and ask him for advice, unless for some weird reason he gives great advice, but I'm going to go to a psychologist or a therapist. And because they went to school, they practice it, they have experience of telling people the right answer and the wrong answer and knowing, so I found that I needed to study more, and so through my studies, I figured out a lot of stuff that I wish I would have known growing up as a kid. And one of them being that, this is super fun to draw and teach and educate others while I learn myself. Okay, I gotta figure out how to draw this foot real quick. Squeeze me. Can't talk while I draw like this because it takes every ounce of my professional being. Let's hope that foot looks right. That works. It's a right foot, solid. But I don't know everything, so that's the fun part, is that I get to admit that I don't know everything or even close to everything. And a lot of the people that I've talked to and who've commented on my stuff have been able to educate me in things that I didn't know about. Yeah, it's just fun. It's just really fun to really explore the difficult things that people were afraid of, or I've been afraid of. Like, for example, Satanism, right? Like, people who are religious Christians and stuff usually will never study that topic because it's like, oh, that's got Satan in it, whatever. But Satanists would say that they don't even believe in God or Satan himself. They believe in freedom of religion, and that's what they're fighting for. They just use Satan as kind of like a slap in the face to the Christians who, utilize their dominance over a country with the cross or Jesus or hanging on a cross and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of their way, but they're like, they don't worship Satan. They don't care about Satan. They don't believe he's real. I mean, there are groups of Satanism that take out that religion and go to the extremes of that, of believing and doing all that crazy crap. But that's like not the main religion itself. And I didn't know that, I was always told differently. And, it's just a political thing more than it is anything else. But in the same way that Christianity has its own, you have Jehovah's Witness and Mormons and stuff that take their religion a little bit towards a different route without any, truth in it. Don't have much battery left, but we'll make it work. Not to say that any of you guys who are Mormon or Jehovah's Witness or anything like that are wrong. You do you. I do not judge you. I'm just saying historical facts. Right? So, you'll be all right. Unless you're sacrificing goats and weird animals to a pit fire and weird crap, then you might have some issues. But, if you eat the food afterwards, it could be delicious. Could be all right. That's how I got started and stuff. You might not agree with me, and I don't expect anyone to really agree with me, but that's how it happens, and that's why I do what I'm doing. I find it very fun. No. Yeah. but it's helped me post a lot because I've had to defend myself so much, that I've had to figure out a way to post and post and post in order to keep my knowledge at bay. And one of my favorite people to who I listen to is his name is Bart Ehrman, and he's written a couple books that are just brilliant. He's a great scholar on the New Testament of the Bible, but he used to be Christian and he's not anymore. He used to be evangelical and super hardcore for most of his life, and then he stopped based on certain viewpoints that he came to realize, not on discovering any historical issues that with the Bible. It was actually on his personal basis that he's and I'm not going to speak for him, but his education and his scholarship, he still does post every single day on the New Testament and stuff, trying to help people realize the actual education. I mean, the historical part of all the stuff that Christianity teaches but doesn't know much about because they don't preach it. Preachers don't preach it. And if they did preach it, then you'd have people asking questions. And if you had people asking questions, obviously it wouldn't bring people into church to give tithes and, so and so. But he does a great job. And I read his books and study his stuff. He does classes and courses, and him and a few other great scholars. I listen to some Old Testament scholars, Amy Levine, I think her name is. I always forget Levine or Lavelle, but she's really great. And a few others are out there that are awesome. They know the Bible backwards and forwards, and they know the historical, archaeological finds that we have to verify. And they don't deny that Jesus was real and stuff. They just you have to study what culture was doing at that time and what people were doing. The same way that today, American Christianity and religion is different from what it looked like 100 years ago, in Catholicism and everything like that. So it's good to educate yourself. And I've been learning to learn every day, but then also post what I learn. It's been fun. Through the art thing, it's been really good because it keeps what I learn in my brain, because if I just learn it, I'm going to forget it in a week or two, and then, which I usually, obviously, you can see that I forget a lot of stuff, but this helps. Okay, so we have Baal jumping up. We're doing his feet right now. If you're just tuning in, hey guys, welcome, and please, like and subscribe to the channel. That'll help me out. But kind of just talk about whatever while I draw. Different gods, different mythology stuff, and different things. If you hear me say something incorrect, hey, say, hey, Josh, you don't know what you're talking about. Go for it. But I just try to give you the information I've been learning, and I try to repeat it the best I can. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That is life. Been watching this really cool show on Hulu or FX called Shogun. It's a remake of the old TV show Shogun, but it's fantastic. Just the way the dialogue and the story and the way they present Japanese culture and stuff. I'm this is brilliant. I highly recommend it. Also, The Last Airbender Avatar is really good for kids. I love that too. There's a couple good shows been coming out. Okay, so let's get back there a little bit. Let me focus the camera. There we go. So this is Baal. I added horns to him because he's also known as having a bull look to him. And I didn't want to make him look like a super evil bull-looking helmet, kind of like the devil or anything. I wanted him to have kind of a Loki / simple, nice, kind bull parts. But yeah, this is him so far holding a lightning bolt. And Probably should make the lightning bolt stretch out a little bit. Make it bigger. Yeah. And then we will yeah, that looks pretty good. He's about to zap some people for whatever reason. Oh, the camera. No. All right, so... Oh, you finished Avatar already? Good grief. Those episodes are long. At least it felt like they were long. I'm only on number 3. And it's really good. I really like it. I like how innocent it is, actually. It's nice and refreshing to see something innocent on TV. So much stuff has been trying to, like, you know, dabble in, like, the kind of, like, hardcore stuff. And I'm like, man, it's nice to see Nickelodeon kind of throwing down the innocent stuff again. Like, that's just refreshing. And the actors are so good. Oh, man, they're so good. The boy actor, he is killing it. Oh, man, adorable kid. Adorable. All of them are good. And the bad boy, the bad kid, at first I didn't like him because I was like, man, he's kind of corny. Like, he tries to be bad, but, like, his voice isn't very, like, it's kind of high-pitched for being, like, a firebender kid. But then, like, it makes sense. He's still a young kid, and he's still trying to be he hasn't hit puberty kind of thing, I think. It's just, I don't know, it's nice. I like it. The graphics, oh my god, the graphics are, like, on point for that show. Brutally good. Brutally. Okay. All right, so let me get back to my drawing here. So we have him hopping around, jumping in the sky. This is Baal. Now, we need to add a few more shadows, but I have to remember that there's lightning here, so the lighting on his pants and his clothing, or his pants, his skirt and his legs and stuff like that are not going to be too much shadow. Only where the lighting was hit, so like here it gets darker. Here it should be a little bit darker because I have a lightning bolt going that direction. And yeah, let's give him some sandals. He's looking pretty good. He actually turned out better than I thought he was going to look. Looks like he farted. If you don't know what the rest of this thing is, like a fart bubble. Kind of fun. Kind of fun. All right, let's give his skirt a design. So we're looking at ancient Canaanite designs. What an ancient Canaanite design would be actually, I don't even know. I think I'm gonna do diamonds. I feel like there's a lot of diamond design to it. kind of the cool thing about drawing ancient stuff and gods is that you kind of get to have your own interpretation a little bit. I mean, you can't go too far off of history, obviously, but then when there's not enough information about the gods, you can kind of do what you want. But I wish I had more information on him that I could draw him accurately, because I want to give the best portrayal. The question is, would he be in the comic book? He's not going to be in the comic book like this. If he is, he'll be activated by some kind of spiritual realm of the story of why people would even want to worship him in the first place, right? Or why they created him in the first place. So he must have had some kind of existence in some fashion for them to want to believe and worship this guy. But how does that look, and how does that actually, get portrayed? I don't know. Still working on that part of the story. I've got Ehud's story going pretty well. It's the first comic is going to be based off of him meeting King Eglon and having a reason why he wants to kill Eglon in the first place, other than just the oppression point of view, right? I want him to have this kind of first meeting to where he grows angry at him and wants to get his revenge and something like that. So since he's a left-handed man, there's probably some disgrace in being left-handed, and he's a warrior. So then, the men in that time probably had to all learn how to fight at some point. So having him maybe fall in love with another soldier, but then I don't want to ruin the first one. I mean, if you listen to this, then you'll get it, but then you still won't know the full story. But if he falls in love with one of the soldiers secretly, obviously the relationship couldn't really, go anywhere, because it's probably looked down upon to like another man in that time period or that era within the tribe, because he's from the Benjaminite, right? So I don't know. I had to figure out if that's correct. I think the Benjaminites were a little bit more aggressive, more war hungry, I think. From my studies, I have to figure that out, though. I think that's right, but either way, like later on in Judges, they say the left-handed people were using slings and able to do it with the left hand like perfectly and throw well. So that's where they found some of their soldiers. Left-handed soldiers were really good, but in his story, I think left-handed was the first start of being like someone judged and not as great. So for him to fall in love with another soldier, but then it'd be like kind of like you can't love this guy because, and then maybe he has to kill him in front of Eglon because Eglon desired a battle to the death or something, may have some desire for him to go and kill King Eglon. I think that'd be pretty cool. And I think gives a more rich and deeper story to build off of. So I might be doing that. Most likely we'll be doing that. And then the second comic book will be about him actually making into the Moabite army, or making it into King Eglon to kill him. And then the third comic book will be the escape, and then raising the army to defend Ehud and then kill all the 10,000 Moabites. And then there's a 40-year of peace. So I think it's just a build-up to the epic. The epic isn't actually killing Moab, but it's actually the big war scene where the Moabites get taken out by the Israelites. Yeah. So hopefully I got to start writing it, but I've been just studying a lot about the gods and Gilgal and the location. One of the cool things about Gilgal, as it says in the book of Ehud, is like he turned towards Gilgal, the idols of Gilgal. Well, Gilgal is actually two locations, Camp Gilgal and then the Tel Gilgal, which was a little bit further north of the Jordan, I believe, the river. And all the places that Israelites had built their little cities and stuff and towns were in the shape of a right foot. Because in the Bible, it talks about like, wherever you put your foot, God will be there also kind of thing. So they built their cities and fortified in the shape of the right foot. And that's really cool. Never even knew that, but I learned that from some historical pastor guy who studies over in Israel. And this kind of information helps me a lot because now I can design the cities that they're going to and figure out what the stone idols were. But then some of these were wooden idols and they were transferred later. There's all kinds of cool stuff that I want to put into this comic book so that people have a more accurate version instead of just me trying to give my own theology pretty much. So, I mean, of course, there's going to be a lot of my own theories and stuff, but that's because there's not enough data to build it quite yet. But what I can get is what I'm going to do. And I'm excited to do so. Okay. So for now, this is going to be our boy, our Canaanite god Baal. He's looking pretty dope. He's jumping through the air, about to shock some people with his jumping skills. I'm going to pencil in. I'm going to probably darken him in and stuff, and then I'm going to pencil in some more of the statue of the actual statue that was found of him, and then the location of where he may have been served. And then back here, probably the close-up face behind the legs and a pencil. So it's going to be pencil, pencil, pencil to give it that kind of... I may marker this in to bring out the lightning bolt. That might be cool. But tonight we're done because I didn't want to spend too much time chitter-chattering, which I've done the entire time. I'm impressed I could talk so much. But thank you guys for watching. If you have been watching, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. But yeah, this is Baal, guys. The interpretation, just so you know before you leave, what I was working with to draw him was an image of... Oh, just passed him up. This was one of the ornaments the idols that they would have, probably about this tall, right? Not very big. And this might be actual size, right? Oh, he did have sandals. Oh, did he have boots? Can't really tell with these details. Very Egyptian style, though. You can see by his eyes, they're kind of like Egyptian elongated. But this is what I transferred. I made him from this image. I turned him into that image. How many people can say they've done that? Good night, Daniel. I hope you have a great night, and thank you for being here. It's very encouraging and appreciative. I thank you for listening to my nonsense. But as for all of you others, hope you enjoyed this drawing. It was not a, most brilliant drawing in the world, but I'll post the post of it being continued, and we'll move on to the next god soon, maybe tomorrow. Thank you guys. If you're creative, please go create because you're that rad. You're that awesome. And I will see you guys tomorrow, maybe earlier in the day because I got to work a night shift. So anyways, yeah, go create, guys. Talk to y'all soon.